Beloved star, welcome. Very, very warm welcome to Immortal Starlight Pod episode 37. And this one, I'm going to speak just for 10 minutes, just a small one. I can feel that a part of me is having a very, very deep rest and replenishment far, far away. I can see that part of my soul that normally is in transmission mode is sitting. It's as though she has her back to me almost, and she's just sitting there in stillness, gazing in contemplation and really assimilating. And it's as though that infinity loop that came through the Lion's Gate that I spoke of back around the time of the Lion's Gate, that infinity loop, she is gazing, and ever since the viewpoint feels so deep both ways, that now moment, past and future, past, present, future, and she is as though gazing along the timelines, and they ebb and they flow in and out of consciousness, and there is a contemplation and an assimilation and a listening. So yeah, in this moment of that summer replenishment and stillness, to speak a little though, to share and to come forth with our Immortal Starlight Pod episode 37. Interesting when part of your longing is to share, and part of that which is integral to your being is to share, when you feel called to that stillness and going very, very far within. And as one who's also known what it's like to be paralyzed almost within that far within, to feel as though I'm never going to come out. And so I don't trust that part of myself at times, because I worry when she comes along that she's going to, become that shy one again who will never want to peep her head and show herself ever again. And so now that the dance of both that, if you like, that solar and that lunar one are both present in my embodied experience, it's very interesting now to also allow that lunar one, now that the solar one has come so into being, to really be with me again. It was the mode I was always in. It's like that quiet, dear, far away, listening, 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 and very occasionally then coming forward, or finally writing my book after 10 years and so forth, and then giving the gift. And so, yeah, now to let her forward in this dance with that solar one who shares and who loves to share and to connect, to trust the dance. So that feels very interesting as I come forward in this now moment, really observing that. And if you're someone who shares also, yeah, maybe that's a place, and maybe that's helpful for us to honor that dance between those aspects, and to invite that deeper field of trust, of that far one, if you like, and then the one who is here in that radiance and that sharing, because that feels the infinity loop of the discourse within, that is so deeply and beautifully established through the Lion's Gate. And the Lion's Gate of this year, that 8-8 portal, felt as though a date long dreamt by the Alven. I could feel that as a very, very significant wane mark, and a moment when we would experience a great arrival of a part of our home worlds, also a part of what, from this perspective, we see as the future, and that would arrive with us here, having really achieved and attained, as we have done through this year, that handing over of the keys of power to our physical reality. And with that accomplished, a key part of our home worlds from beyond able to land here with us. And ever since, it's as though a part of my being I could feeling almost at sea, as the changeover is so, so profound. And the old physical existence is phasing out, but coming very much into awareness as it does so, and phasing out through the emotional body, and torrents of tears and grieving, and the waves of acknowledging all of the deep sadness of the separation that has been. And for myself, especially as this year has been the anchoring of the white reindeer woman aspect of my own avatar and soul star remembrance and presence for the dawn, sharing those shamanic gifts and those stargates and gateways of the elven and of that immortal starlight through realms and through the earth, walking that path of the reindeer, and that is an embodied soul remembrance also from prior lifetimes, but one that, if you like, is of that dharmic quality rather than karmic. It belongs to the gift of the light I'm here to bring. It is ability, skill, gift that is relevant for the dawn. It's not a karmic load that creates a veil or a seal of separation. They are gifts and skills and abilities that pertain to our return and what I'm here to bring. And that's been phasing in and through. And as I shared my trip to Canada, whenever I go to the far north, that aspect is activated so profoundly. And as I've come back to Avalon, I shared in the last pod the challenge of arriving back because of the definitely a karmic timeline ever since, chosen consciously by my soul stream, but to come into these lands and the last aeon that we've experienced of the patriarchal structures, of the separations, societal and so forth, that have meant a very deep collective and individual embodied split between different soul aspects, and feeling that ability to hold a very pure spiritual light, if you like, but it being quite separate from a really embodied and empowered expression of that. And that being my remembrance, almost like the the princess in the tower, or the lady of Shalott there, that one who holds a light, waiting, if you like, waiting to be rescued or seen or brought forth, activated into this world. And as a child, that was so much part of my dreaming and of my fantasy world within, of that being found and being seen for that light that was within, and to be actually set free, as it were, from that prison, from that ivory crystal tower, that prison, so beautiful but so confining and so much less than all that is. And I've had this beautiful necklace, pair of jewels laid out. So the elven legacy is one in many ways. There's been many of the elven aspects have gone, if you like, into that ivory tower, into the separation of higher dimensional celestial realms, parallel dimensionality, much of it into the realm of Venus that has separated off by going up into, if you like, that tower where the records, the light codes, the energy is contained and held. And so with the energy of the elven remembrance, it becomes part of that legacy to really, if you like, crack that prism, break out of that crystal tower and land upon the earth once more, walk upon the earth to carry this legacy, these beautiful codes for the dawn, with both feet upon the earth once more, and all of the power and the light and the legacy of that in wholeness for the dawn. And as that interfusion happens between those soul aspects, that white reindeer woman avatar, and then, if you like, that white celestial elven one in that far realm held in that tower, and the separation that has been expressed through the last aeon on this earth that has expressed that, as they are interfusing, that prison is breaking open. But when soul aspects return and we experience deep interdimensional infusion and reunion of soul aspects, while the light that comes through can feel so beautiful and we feel much uplifted by it at first when it comes in, we can also find ourselves processing a lot of emotion, a lot that dwelt at that threshold when the soul aspects separated in the first place. The grief, the loss, it's as though your eyes are opened. Your eyes are open to the nature of the separation, even as you reunify. And some of the generating emotions of that separation are experienced all over again. And so we go through a kind of conscious re-grieving. And just when we feel we should be feeling blissful, joyful, yeah, in the wonder of the new earth and all that we're becoming, the interdimensionality, the return, the reunion. Instead, perhaps we feel incredibly sad and full of that ancient sorrow that is cleansing from the deeps of our being and our soul. And as though returning from Canada, I felt that interfusion. So the two necklaces, the two jewels I mentioned, one is this beautiful tribal necklace I got that for me so mirrors that energy of White Reindeer Woman. That's why I chose it. It's so felt that it embodies that aspect of my own soul star remembrance. And then also this exquisite emerald jewel in an elven golden setting. That's a brooch that was part of my wedding dress of 14 years ago. This beautiful white and golden elven wedding dress I had made for my first marriage, that right now is being washed and cleaned and returned, which hasn't literally been looked after since that day. I just put it away in a cupboard 14 years ago, and I'm restoring at the moment. But I took the jewel from it. The dry cleaner gave me the jewel, and the two necklaces have been lying side by side. And I felt on my altar, and I felt this profound interfusion. But actually, interesting, it's on the ground floor. It's in the living room there, the altar that I have there, and feeling that the power or now of the story that is releasing, the long imprisonment, the long separation, and the interfusion of that celestial white starlight elven remembrance that is of the future, is of the starlight ages that have been, is of this divine and eternal now, with those soul gifts, abilities, and powers of that White Reindeer Woman avatar aspect. Now, I'm pretty much at my 10 minutes that I promised myself, so I just want to complete the guidance in this pod for this week, which is that for us to acknowledge that we have anchored a really significant part of the future here. As I spoke through the Lion's Gate, that anchored, that homeworld architecture, that seed of the future, that which we've been building through that reclamation, that handing over of the keys of power to our physical reality. It is done. It is here. And to look to this, to ask that question, you can scan your reality. We're doing this as a deep shamanic practice in the Elven Aurora. If you feel guided to that deeper journey, you feel you need that deeper setting of the shamanic tool and the altering of the drum, and to really go deeply into that. But you can do this from that seat of stillness within yourself, from that I am presence, to scan your reality and ask that question: what have I seeded here already? What is here of Elashima, the age that is come? And at this moment, we might feel through that review that our vision is altered because we've been doing so much. We've been anchoring so much, and so much is released, and so much has been recreated and recoded here. And it's a great moment to ask that question, lift the veil from our vision, and become aware of that integral architecture of Elashima, the age that is come, that golden architecture that is absolutely inherent to the anchoring, the stabilizing of the dawn that we have wrought here now. And for me, that aspect is that White Reindeer Woman presence. I am shown that in the shamanic tools and the ceremonies that I anchor, and this remembrance, this way. And it's quite staggering to me, even though that is what is with me at all times, to be called to honor that. That's the thing, to honor, to treasure, to become aware, to hold in awareness that of the future that we truly have anchored here at this time. So to make that attunement within your being, because it is here, and it is of that white, golden, diamond, starlight frequency and continuum, that is the calibration of the dawn itself, of Elashima, the age that is come. We are no longer simply in an era of preparations. We have already established those diamond, golden, solar foundations of the dawn. They're here. So look to this in your reality. And the last thing I'd love to share, that I said to myself I would love to share in this pod, which I haven't entitled, I have to see afterwards what will come forward for the title for this, that to look to, if you hold a separation in yourself between this sense of your bliss and your sorrow, that if you feel yourself needing to grieve, to feel that caliber of that of that sorrow within your soul. Our sorrow is so entwined with our love. It is such a power of our passion, of our light, of our love, of that which we are. And to allow that when you feel sorrow, when you feel that, when you feel the weight of that sorrow, to not see that or experience that as separate from your bliss, from that divine reunion within, from your ascended state. And that it is part and an aspect of the energy of our coming alive, our reunion with all that we are, the beauty of the sacred pearls, those divine diamonds of our tears, that are truly the ornamentation of our heart's realms, shining once more in truth in this world. So much love with this, and even from my far place of replenishment and rest, this has flowed through. So I'm so grateful to be here in this moment with you in Immortal Starlight Pod episode 37. May it support your becoming for all the realms in truth as the one who you are. You are so beautiful. Karathan and Anyana Tetiana, and your gifts absolutely all that they need to be, anchoring here, attuned to this. Kithara Tetiana Atatiere. So much love, and I shall see you soon.